Hey, Canucks fans, some big news this afternoon. The Canucks have traded forward Tanner Pearson and a third-round pick in next year's 2025 NHL Entry Draft to the Montreal Canadiens for backup goaltender Casey DeSmith. Now, there's a lot to think about in this trade, a lot that went into it, but we kind of piecing the pieces together. Yesterday, Rick Dhaliwal said that the Canucks were actively trying to move salary, pursuing a trade. Parker and I talked about it Canucks After Dark last night. And then this morning, Tanner Pearson was activated off of the IR. So you put those two together, and maybe someone could have predicted this. No one knew where he was going, and it's Montreal. It's the Montreal Canadiens, along with a third-round draft pick next year. And that third-round draft pick was likely to make up for the salary difference. Pearson is due to make $3.25 million next season, or this season, whereas Casey DeSmith is in the last year of a 2-year contract, which pays him 1.7 salary, I should say, but his cap hit of $1.8 million. So 3.25 minus 1.8. In this deal, the Canucks save $1.45 million in salary cap room, which is very important for this team. Yet to do so, to facilitate this trade, they had to give up yet another draft pick, and this is a third-round draft pick in next year's draft. Now, with Tanner Pearson, we talked about in the past few weeks how he looked good at Troy Stecher's camp in Richmond, how he looked good at the informal skates at UBC, and how he was basically ready to return fully healthy to the Canucks lineup. And what that meant for the Canucks lineup was a glut of wingers. And don't worry about the centers of Pettersson, Miller, Suter, and Bluger. We were talking about a glut of wingers that included Pearson, Kuzmenko, Mikheyev, Besser, Garland, Beauvillier. And those are 6 guys that could have, 6 guys for only 2 lines, so 4 spots in the top 6, and then maybe another, the next 2 guys make up the top 9. So again, the top 6 wingers were Kuzmenko, Mikheyev, Garland, Besser, Pearson, and Beauvillier. And then you still have Joshua, you still have DiGiuseppe, you still have the young wingers, like Podkolzin and Höglander. So you could see that there was certainly going to be some battles for roster spots when it came to the wings on the Vancouver Canucks. We kept talking about, is it going to be Brock Besser that gets moved? Connor Garland, Anthony Beauvillier. We talked about the pros and cons of all those guys, given how much time was left on their salary, on their contracts, how much salary they were owed, and all these things. And Pearson was kind of an afterthought. And I even did a vlog about this last week as part of my live stream, saying, don't sleep on Tanner Pearson, because he seems to be the type of player that Rick Tocchet will really like. Low maintenance, good on the boards, north-south type player, defensively responsible. But all those things may be true, but Rick Tocchet won't get to enjoy Tanner Pearson as he's off to Montreal. So again, it sort of solves a little bit. It helps with the glut of wingers on this team, and it helps a bit with the salary cap. The Canucks are saving 1.45 in cap space. Now, on the flip side, what kind of goalie are they getting in Casey DeSmith? Well, he's 32 years old, and he was undrafted. He signed with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he played 5 seasons for them as a backup, ranging everywhere from 15 games to as high as 38 games last season. Last season, not a great year for him. 38 games. His goals against was 3.17, and his save percentage was .905. So not the most stellar stats. In fact, you look at Casey DeSmith's career stats, and he is regressing instead of progressing. So obviously, he came in the league as a 27-year-old, because that was 5 years ago. 5 seasons in Pittsburgh, his goals against average has actually gotten higher, while his save percentage has gotten lower. So DeSmith is not going to be the slam dunk backup to Thatcher Demko. I think he is brought in, though, to provide some depth, some insurance, some competition even at that level. So what's really fascinating now is if you say that now it's a 3-man fight for the backup position between DeSmith, Seelovs, and Martin, this still doesn't change anything for me. I still think they're going to go with Seelovs or Martin as the backup to Demko, and then the other one will be likely with DeSmith in the American Hockey League. Now, you don't necessarily have to have a veteran backstopper on your American Hockey League team. The Canucks did just fine last year when Delia was with Vancouver. They had Martin and Seelovs on the farm, and they were fine. But you could see a scenario where, for instance, it's Demko and Martin in Vancouver, and then Seelovs getting the lion's share of the starts in Abbotsford. backed up by Casey DeSmith. Or maybe Casey DeSmith has an awesome, amazing training camp, and then you have him as the backup, and now you have Seelovs and Martin as your goaltenders in Abbotsford. Regardless, it does give the Canucks some more depth at that position. So in essence, Casey DeSmith comes in as the Colin Delia of last year, albeit twice as expensive. But he comes in at $1.8 million. Like I said, last summer, he signed a 2-year contract with the Pittsburgh Penguins, 2 years, $3.6 million, so $1.8 million a year. And then in August, he was part of that big 3-way trade between San Jose, Pittsburgh, and Montreal. And his small part of that trade was he moved from Pittsburgh to Montreal. Then we heard a bunch of stories that he wasn't happy to be traded. It was causing stress in his life because I think him and his wife were expecting around that time. So I remember reading a bunch of reports back in the day, last month, that he wasn't happy about going to Montreal. So I don't know if he's going to be happier now that he's going to Vancouver, at least for the time being. I don't even know if this is part of a bigger play by Patrik Allvin. Maybe it's going to be a trade chip. I'm not sure how valuable of a trade chip he's going to be, considering you gave up a 3rd-round pick to get him. Regardless, maybe Vancouver is not DeSmith's final place of stay for the season. But for now, Casey DeSmith is a Vancouver Canuck, and Tanner Pearson is a Montreal Canadien, along with whoever they pick in the 3rd round next year with our pick, if that makes sense. Not next year, in 2025. So, Canucks fans, let me know what you think. I've presented a few angles here. It solves the glut, partially solves the glut of wingers. It helps a bit with our salary cap situation. We save $1.45 million. And then you bring a veteran goaltender to battle with Demko, Seelovs, and Martin, and to just overall bolster the strength of our goaltending, even though DeSmith did not have the best of years last season. So Canucks fans, how are you feeling right now? Do you feel bad for Pearson after working so hard and then going to a team that's probably worse than us? Are you happy for him from a standpoint of that he's going to maybe get a more chance to play over there? Or what do you think of Casey DeSmith coming over? Are you mad that we're giving up a 3rd-round draft pick? Are you more happy that we're moving towards solving our salary cap situation and even our lineup situation? So many different angles, and I'd love to hear your thoughts below. Let me know. Shout out to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Perform and Transform Personal Training and Weight Loss. Thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Carol Bovelander, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame and franchise members. Thanks for your support. And thanks to all of you for watching, subscribing. Always appreciate you. I never take you for granted. On your way out, subscribe, like the video, leave a donation, become a member, upgrade your membership. Don't forget, I'm live streaming tonight at 10:30, so we'll have a lot to talk about, including this, of course, will be the main topic of conversation. We'd love to see you tonight at 10:30. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this trade. God bless, and go Canucks go.